Oh my God, oh my God! It's like a torpedo. Is it a largemouth? No, it's a largemouth. It's a giant largemouth. Did that just happen? Don't stage on it. Big one, big one. All right, listen to me. Colder water, water in the 50s, the pre-spawn scenario. I want you to watch out because today we're gonna be exploring how to catch these largemouth when the water's cold but warming. It's gonna be a good one. All right, everybody, here we are, day 2 of filming for Tackle Warehouse. Talk about a change of scenery. We went 180 degrees in the opposite direction and we're fishing up in North Jersey today. And yesterday was a bayou, a river, shallow, dirty water. Deepest water we saw was 3-4 feet. Today, we're fishing a man-made reservoir in northern New Jersey. The great thing about this fishery is it's having a high water period right now. So there's a lot of water. We're gonna see flooded cover. But the other great thing, this is a dual fishery. We have smallmouth and largemouth in here today. So I'm excited about what's gonna happen. A little bit of cranking, a little bit of flipping, a little bit of finesse fishing. Who knows? I haven't been here in over a year. So just like filming a few days ago, we're gonna just fish the moment and try to figure it out on the fly. Keep your eyes out. This is gonna be a good one. We're at Spruce Run Reservoir for Tackle Warehouse. Come on, let's fish. Here we go, start of the second day of filming for Tackle Warehouse. New location. It is unbelievable the difference in water type. Last fishery was shallow, dirty water. I mean, I was flipping to 6 inches to a foot all day. And the first set of bushes I stopped on today, they're in 4 feet of water, 4 or 5 feet of water. I could see down 4 feet of water. I could see 4 foot down. It's clean. This is incredible. Such a different fishery. The other difference is the conditions, the day. And if you look at the day, oh God, second bush I fished. Look at that. Did that just happen? That wasn't a setup, guys. If you're watching right now and you're saying that's a Mike Iaconelli setup, bull! That wasn't a setup. That was the second bush I flipped. This is incredible. I'm not kidding you guys. The second bush I flipped, and I was talking about the difference in conditions. Clean water, flooded cover that's deep. And here's the interesting thing. First bass of the day, with these conditions, high sun, still. Look behind me, bro. Look behind me. It's flat as glass. These are tough conditions for a lot of techniques, but for flipping bushes, these are ideal conditions. That bush is an ambush spot. It's a spawning location, but with a high sun and no wind, it provides shade, and bass love shade. Here's the other similarity. This lake looks nothing like the last lake we fished, but look at the bait, guys. Look at the bait. You're gonna see something very familiar. There it goes again. Berkley Maxscent Creature Hawg went from a dark color in dark water to a light natural color in clear water. This is the green pumpkin. I'm using Spike It dye on the tail. I'm gonna show you that in a second. And my first fish of the day on the second bush I flipped, 2.5 pounder. A lot of spots. This fish is coming out of deep water. They're moving shallow. I think today's gonna be a good day. You know, we're appealing to the fish's senses, all of them across the board. And we're using a Berkley Powerbait Maxscent Creature Hawg. And when you look at this thing, it's a beaver style bait. It's Maxscent, so we're appealing to the fish's sense of smell, but also I want to appeal to his sense of sight, of vision. One of the little tricks I've been using for a lot of years, even in clear water like this, is I like to add accents to this bait. This is a straight green pumpkin creature hog, and all we're doing is we're taking a little bit of that Spike It chartreuse dye the dip and die. This is the liquid. And I like to just get the tips in there. A lot of people wonder, does does Spike It work on Maxscent or Powerbait or Gulp? It works on all of it. And if you look, just that little chartreuse on the tips, it's a great imitator of what a bluegill looks like, the colors of a bluegill. So a little bit of Spike It appealing to their sight, Maxscent appealing to their scent. You've got all you need to catch some big fish. Yeah, little rough spot. Listen, especially when you're flipping, pitching around heavy cover, be very cognizant of your line. And I want you to, if you can see that right there, this is 20-pound Berkley Trilene Fluorocarbon. Just a little bit ago, I caught a big fish, nice size fish out of a bush. He was stuck in there for a second. And if I look, I feel some abrasion right there. And you could actually see a little damage that line. So that's taking fluorocarbon, that's 20-pound. It might be bumping it down to 10, maybe 8. So you want to be a line watcher, especially when you're flipping a pitch. So I'm going to retie. While I'm retying, I want to show you the general setup I'm using. And this is a real simple setup that I use a lot for Texas rigging. So we're going to start with the weight stop. And this is a VMC black weight stop. Next thing is our weight. And this is a VMC 5/16 ounce tungsten weight. I love tungsten. And the last one is the hook. And let me cut this old knot off here. And I want to show you the exact knot and everything I use. This is a 3/0 heavy duty Ike approved VMC straight shank flipping hook. And this is the easiest way to tie a snell knot. You ready? You're going to take your line, you go right through the eyelet, and you bring it through about 6 or 8 inches. I'm going to double the line across, laying parallel to the top shank of that hook. When I do that, I pinch it, and then there's a little gap on this VMC Ike approved between the eyelet and the bait keeper. And I'm going to loop it about 5 or 6 times in that gap. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take that tag end, and that loop that you paralleled, now I'm going to go back through that loop. I'm going to go back through it. I'm going to start to cinch that down. I want to make sure this whole loop assembly goes over top of that keeper, that epoxy keeper. I'm going to let it and cinch it down. And now I'm going to trim that tag end, and I want to show you what you've got. Now you've got a snell knot, and that snell knot, when you set the hook, watch this hook pop. You ready? When you set the hook, tink, look at the direction of that hook. That hook is going to pop up and out, okay? So snell knot, last but not least, there's that Berkley Powerbait Maxscent Creature Hawg. I'm Texas rigging it. That big giant keeper helps to keep that up there. I just want to make sure the bait is nice and straight. And there is the ultimate flipping bait right there. .50-degree water, might have to leave it in there a little bit. And sometimes you can just throw it in and hit it on initial fall every time. But the cooler the water, the more I have a tendency to want to work it a little bit in the bush. You know, water's 60, 70, you throw it in, hits the bottom, you make your next pitch. But yeah, warm it up, warm that bush up. The other thing I wonder is when we start getting into the coves, which is where it goes down, if that water temperature will be just a little warmer and the fish will be a little more juicy in there, you know? Funny, it's like them smallmouth this time of the year when they want to spawn, they'll stage on this. Big one! Big one! I'm just talking about them smallmouth will stage on these rocky points. This is a big one, dude. This is on the Rapala OG, Octafo, crankbait. Ah, big smallmouth! Gosh, it's like a torpedo. Is that a largemouth? No, it's a largemouth. It's a giant largemouth. It's a giant largemouth. It's a giant largemouth. It's giant. I got him! Yeah! Yeah! Oh, in my rotten water. Yeah, yeah! There you go, guys. Whew. Let me maintain my composure here. All right, this is what it's all about, man. Come to a lake you haven't been to in years and start to figure out a pattern. This is only the second fish of the day, and it came on a completely different set of conditions. Our first fish, we started out flipping bushes. It was dead calm. About 10 minutes later, that wind picked up, and that wind, right now it's like a southwest wind picked up, and we targeted a rocky point. Look at that. A lot of times, remember, 55-degree water temperature, okay? And he did have another hook in him. That hook was actually in his mouth. That one pulled out. The one that's left is this the one that's in the top of his head. But that's the OG, that's the Ottifo. OG stands for Ott's Garage, flat side. And you know, when the water's cold, this is a perfect kind of crankbait. Let me let this fish go, and I'm gonna tell you about how I fish it and exactly how that fish bit. Man, what an awesome fish. I want to tell you a little bit about this bait, and it is special. Remember what I said, water temperature, 55 degrees. And if you're watching, this is the rule of thumb for picking crankbait. That colder water, tighter wobble, warmer water, wider wobble. When it comes to a tight wobble crankbait, nothing beats a flat side. And this Rapala OG crankbait is perfect. I'm using it in a color pattern called Original Crawdad. This time of the year in the spring when the water's cool, a lot of crawfish are emerging around those rocks. Ott really designed this to have deflection, but to have a subtle side-to-side wobble. He's used a computer chip lip on this thing. And last but not least, look at these hooks. These are gaffs, and you saw that fish hooked in the scalp. This is a VMC hybrid treble, and they're upsized. This comes standard on this bait. These are 2 number 4 trebles, upsized. To round this out, rod, reel, line for sure is critical. Whenever I'm fishing a treble hook bait, I'm using the Abu Garcia Ike Series Delay Series, the Delay Series. And the delay rod means it's composite. It's graphite and glass mixed together. This is the 7-foot medium rod. Look at the tip on this. I'm real big and showing you the action. Look at this. Look how spongy that rod is. That rod's composite, and delay means that spongy tip will allow that fish to get it in his mouth, and you're gonna land them. The other thing, when they're fighting next to the boat, you saw how hard that fish was fighting, right? You saw him pulling. When those fish pull, that spongy tip acts as an absorber, and you're gonna land a lot more fish. To round it out, we're using the Abu Garcia Revo Ike in the 6:1. A lot of times when I'm cranking, I slow the ratio of the reel down. Last piece, fluorocarbon all the way. 12-pound Berkley Trilene, 100% fluorocarbon. Perfect combination for these flat side crankbaits. This crankbait's doing all the right things, guys. I can just tell the way it's coming through the water. You know when you start fishing a bait and you're like, you feel like you're gonna get bit every cast because of the way it feels? We'll have to see how the next one's hooked though. I might have to play with color just a little bit. I mean, any of those reds and oranges in the spring, you know, like I said, when that water's 40 to 50 degrees, mid-50s like it is now, hard to beat that crawfish orange. Big one. Oh, come off! Oh my God. Oh my God, he was right, that one was on the rock. Let me see if I get this fish to come back. Oh my God. Oh my God. Big one, dude. Golly. See now it's starting to scare me a little bit, you know? So now it's like, I got a bite and it missed it. That last one sort of had it on a scalp. Now it makes you think, are you a little off on color? Could be a little off on color, which is okay, you know? Color we can change. We did catch some punching too. I caught one on that weird Mullex diving frog. Here's one. Here's one. It come right out of the grass. Feels like a decent one. Not a giant, but it feels like, oh, it's a good one. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, he's not hooked very well either, is he? Got him. This one. There you go. Another fish on the OG. Not a giant, but another nice largemouth. I want to show you something. This is an indicator of the mode these fish are in. First of all, when I landed that fish, dude, that fish is cold. He's cold. But I want you to look at this fish. This fish came out of a little milfoil edge. If this fish was sitting in the milfoil for the last few days, he would be dark, black, almost yellow. Look at how light this largemouth is. He's pale, he's almost white. The complete body's almost white. The cold skin, the pale color, that's telling me this fish is just coming from deep water. 55 degrees, you gotta remember, that's surface temp. So the mean lake temperature is probably 50, maybe even in the high 40s. So a lot of fish just sliding. Nothing beats a tight wobble crankbait when fish are pre-spawn. I'm telling you right now, put away your wide wobble cranks, pick up a tight wobble crank, just like that OG by Rapala, and you can catch these early pre-spawn largemouth just showing up to the shallows. All right, so the good news is we've got a bait that's working. This is the perfect crankbait for these conditions. Pre-spawn fish, cooler water, water in the 50s. This Rapala OG is working. The issue is, of the last 3 bites I had, I caught one that was hooked on top of the head, I missed the bite, and then the last fish was only hooked on that back hook. When I start getting that scenario where fish aren't hooked well, it makes me think about wanting to change color, right? This action is right, it's perfect tight wobble, the depth, everything's right, the size, the profile, but the color might be a little off. So I like to start experimenting, and I'll switch colors until I see that fish actually eating the bait better. So I'm gonna go in the box, make a switch. I've got a whole giant flambeau box here of flat sides, and I really now wanna change and go from a crawfish pattern to more of a bait fish pattern. And I've got old school shad, and I also have this color called River Shiner, which is perfect because it's got some olive brown in the back. There's herring in this lake. There's alewife herring. That's a real good imitation of alewife. So I'm gonna pull both these out, but I think I'm gonna try the River Shiner. You know, the other thing that could happen with this color change is then we don't get any bites, which is possible. Maybe we went the wrong direction, you know? We'll find out in a second. Big one, big one, big one, right on the point. Big one. Oh my God! 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 Holy 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 he's not, holy he's barely hooked, right? Yeah! Yeah! All right, guys, I don't want to say I told you so, but look at it. Would you just look at it? We talked about, you know, these fish being hooked better, and you can see the mark right there. That one was actually hooked there as well. That fish definitely took that bait a little better. That is the same crankbait. That's the Ott Defoe. This is the OG Slim 6. We switched colors. We went from a crawfish to a River Shiner, and there's our first fish after making the change. You know, I can't say 100% color makes a difference, but a better hook in that fish for sure. Look at that beautiful fish. Another, I would call it 4-pound class fish, and just pre-spawn. Cold. This one's got a little more color to it. Actually, if you look at this one, I love these ones that are spotted up. Look at that one. Big black spots on them right there. Another spot there. Look at them. Look at the molting pattern on that side of them. That's a really cool looking fish. Big pre-spawn female coming up, getting ready to spawn. Cold water cranking. Doesn't get any better than that. Yeah. You know, we've been here about an hour now, and you're always trying to figure out the puzzle, right? I haven't fished here in over a year. It's all new water. So today I'm starting to feel the puzzle come together. And the two things I see materializing is fish that are using bushes back in the coves on the flatter banks. But the thing that's really developing is fishing a tight wobble crankbait, that's that Rapala OG Slim, around these, what I call flatter, more slowly tapering banks, right? We went past several banks today that had rock. They were super deep, 0 to 20 foot, really quick. That's a winter bank, that's a summer bank. They're not on them. These fish are moving up to spawn. They're staging on these rocky points. And if you look at this one right here, it's perfect. I can see the boulders coming off the bank. The bank actually makes a point right here. And here's the key, the depth, I'm only in about 12 or 14 feet here. So you don't want that super deep stuff. The banks leading to the spawning pockets with rock, that's the banks where we're cranking. There's one. Big one. Uh-oh, big one, dude. In the milfoil grass. Big head shakes. Oh, big one, dude. You do it. Got it. This is the difference in color. He's been hooked before too. I want you to see this. I got him. Look at that. That is odd looking fish. One of those hooks just popped out. I don't know if you saw that when right before I got my hands on him. He had both hooks in his mouth. He had this one in the bottom. He's got that one in the top. We talked earlier about how critical this plug is when that water's cold. This is a DT. This is an hot OG 6 river shiner. But look at this, ready? We'll turn this fish around. Ready for this? Look at that. I see you. I see you. That is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because catch and release works, but he's got a bit of a hole in his mouth there that has to heal up. But that's another good largemouth, odd looking largemouth. Look at the color difference too. Earlier I mentioned when they're coming out of deep water, real pale, real light. Look at the color difference on this one. A lot darker. Look at the pronounced black line down this fish. So this fish has been up a little longer than some of those other ones we caught. So it's a good pre-spawn largemouth, tight wobble crankbait, 55-degree water. Come on, let's crank. You know, just caught a nice bass, and that fish came right out of the milfoil, straight out of that milfoil grass. And we've got a technique that we're using with this Rapala crankbait, and I call it snatching a plug or ripping a plug. And all that means really is we are purposely, on purpose, getting this crankbait to get caught in that milfoil grass, right? It's diving, it gets hung in that grass. And I'm going to show you a technique that I use that rips it free from the grass. But one of the key points to this, and I want to explain this to you, is that when you rip it out of the grass, you want it to rip out and up, like a rubber band, not out and down, okay? This technique, ripping a plug or snatching a plug, a lot of people assume you should use a stiff rod, braided line. That is false. To get that rubber band action, you want to use a line that has a little stretch. Fluorocarbon is perfect, mono also works. The other thing you don't want a stiff graphite rod. You actually want to use a rod that's very soft and parabolic. Because when I snatch it, and you're going to see it in a second, when I use this snatching technique, that rod acts like a rubber band. And when I snatch it, it loads, and when it goes back to its normal action, it pops out like a rubber band. So you want this crankbait to rip out of the milfoil, out and up, not down and through it. And here it goes. I'll show you. We got a nice milfoil edge leading into this pocket. So again, I want this crankbait to hit that grass on purpose, right? So I make my cast, I'm basically gonna crank it until I feel it catch in that grass. And you can learn that vibration. There's that steady vibration, and I'm waiting for it to hit some milfoil. And when I feel it hit that milfoil, I'm actually gonna use my hand and bang the bottom of the rod and snap upward at the same time. And that's how you're gonna get that motion. So, long cast, I'm cranking it until I purposely get it buried in the grass, right? All right, feel some milfoil, and then snatching it out there by using my hand and using that upward motion of that rod. Seems a little extreme, but that rubber banding of the crankbait up and out is what triggers those bites. And a lot of fish we're catching today. There's that milfoil. Snatch it and just keep going. And that snatch when you pop it like that, really does clear out most of those feathers. Here's a look right here. That time it was so thick that I got a little bit of that milfoil still on there. But your goal when you snatch it is to clear that crankbait free of all that grass, and when it comes up and out, boom, they eat it. There he goes, big one. Right out of that grass. That's that snatch and retrieve. Oh! Snatch and retrieve. You saw me rip that out of the grass. Ah! Oh, he's been hooked very well. Oh my God. Hang on there. Oh, I got another hook in him. Oh, no. Did a goose come out? I got that sucker. Yeah. Man, I don't know what to say except wonderful day out here on the water today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. We found a great pattern in tight wobble crankbait, that Rapala OG OTS 6, just tight wobble plug, 50-degree water. Really, we were targeting flatter banks, not the steep stuff, but flatter banks leading into spawning pockets. Rocks, milfoil, that snatching pattern you just saw me catch the last two, including this one on that. What a great day, and I hope it was a great learning experience for you in the pre-spawn period. Man, I hope you enjoyed it. Everything, rod, reel, line, and baits that you've seen in today's video is available on Tackle Warehouse. If you like what you see, please like and share this, and don't forget to enter the gear giveaway. We're gonna let this fish go, and we might even keep on fishing.